Well, whether it's the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, wherever you are on this little planet of ours. Today, we're going to be discussing how to correct makeup mistakes that we simply keep making as we age. Uh, Lots to talk about and interact with, and of course then we'll be followed by our Q&A. So let's just dive right into it, shall we? Number one on the hit parade is keeping it simple. Simplicity, strength, style. When you have all those things working together, you got it going on. The number one thing is to have even skin tone. Number two is corrected brows and lips. And number three is your strengthened lash line. And number four is lifting the circumference of your hair. And the major ingredient in all of this, of course, is to practice till you're completely honed. And it's best just to take one item a month, like working on your brows. Do them every day for a month, and you'll find that you will get quite skilled in doing it after a period of time. Okay, so let's take a look at makeup for foundation. You've seen this video before, and I'm going to put a link to it up. No, it's over this way. I'm going to put a link to it for a card so that you'll have easy access. And the time code for this particular segment on that live stream is 2019. Now, this makeup here is only a dual finish powder. And for those who've been around, you know that I recommend the Barelle. And for those that aren't sure, it's Barelle. And if it's hard to come by, or you're living in another country where Barelle doesn't deliver so easily, then MAC. Go to a MAC counter because they're everywhere. And the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation is the thing I recommend. I think that this example here, I keep using it, first of all, because it's my mug and there's no copyright issues. Number two, look at how it just cleans up everything. You know, and I've used it for things like xanthelasma and which are cholesterol spots, for discoloration, for all kinds of things. And there's various ways to apply it. You can do it with just a brush, with a sponge, with a dampened sponge, all kinds of things in different sizes, different densities will do different things. And that's on that video. So next, we're going to talk about corrected brow shapes. I'm going to show a before and after, and we're going to discuss them. Now, this is something that we tend to do as we age, is we tend to, to curve the eyebrows up. Now, here's an example of this same face, same brows that have been corrected, and color corrected too. Depending on if you're embracing your gray hair, what stage you're at, if you're all there or not, or if you're just, if you're salt and pepper, which I love, or you're all the way to white, beautiful white. Your brows and coloring, especially your brows and the makeup that you use, needs to work with it. Now, in this example, she had a lovely taupe there, but the gray, if you saw her hair, the gray just seemed to work better. Now, if you have really thick, dark brows, that's a different story. You're in the minority. For those of us who, when we wash our faces, we can't find our brows, we need a magnifying glass. It's because the color has left and that sort of thing. So, then you have an option to choose whatever you want. Now, our second example. Here's an example of the brows where they go too far down in the front. And that happens to us naturally as we age. Our brows can go down in the front, or they can go down on the sides, or sometimes they can go on an angle like this. You can see the difference here by lifting the front end. It makes a big difference, and it opens the face, and it takes away any perceived angry look. Even though the person may not be angry, they give the impression that they may be. And our other contestant here, again, going up and around. In this, I've said before that in the 30s, uh, um, the pencil thin, Greta Garbo and stars of that era really fashioned those kinds of brows. Well, in the 70s, it was also a very thin look too. But the trouble is, if we didn't do it right, and if they didn't grow back, which happens to many of us, then we end up with, a look that isn't right for us. So you can see here in this example how the corrected or the after look really does make a difference for this beautiful woman's eyes. Okay, and we have our other example here now. Now this is an example that happens to some of us. When some of us have our faces that fall down a little bit more on one side, or one eye becomes smaller just because of the way the face is changing. This can happen with our brows too, where one falls a little bit more than the other, as shown in this example. But again, when you correct, you can lift that up, you can align them to be, sisters or even cousins, but not twins, and not absolutely symmetrical, because none of us are. But you kind of bring it back, you bring the architecture back. It makes a huge difference. And you don't look at the person's brows, you look at the person's eyes, the communication tool. Now, microblading is very popular. Now I want to show you this example. It's a pretty good, but I want you to take a really close look at the before and how it's pointed. See how they're pointed down in the center front, and they're a little bit too thick under the arch. That's fine if you're in your 20s. But 45 plus, nobody has brows that thick unless you are that 2% of people that have that look, because it's most likely due to your ethnicity. So what can be done here when you've got microblading that's been, it's not been done correct? Go back to your artist or to another artist and simply microblade your skin color over top of the mistakes. Okay, that's all you need to do, and a good artist will understand that. Okay, so brows. Architectural foundation of the face, really important to get those right, next to even skin tone. Now we're going to look at the corrected lash line. I have, before we go any further, you've seen this before, but it's worth mentioning it again. These are eyeshadow colors that I strongly recommend for anybody 45 plus who is embracing their gray hair, or not, but if you are, because most are, hopefully there's a big movement for that to happen. These are great colors to use, and you can combine any one of those colors together with anything else. That's all I use. Believe me, that's all I use. And sometimes I can make them stronger, lighter, whatever, the whim of the day is. But what's beautiful about this too is it keeps it simple, right? Very, very simple. You after you've been using these colors, or the combination of these colors, or even 4 of these colors for a period of time, you know how much you need to tap on one brush and then tap into the other once or twice or whatever it is. You'll know what that is, and that's what keeps things simple for you and streamlined, so you can get on with your life. So I just wanted to bring up those samples again for you. Now we're going to take a look at some before and after lashes. Now you can see in the before, while she's got eyeliner on, which is great, and she does have liner on the bottom, do you see the difference in the after picture makes? One of the things that's really crucial is to darken down in some way, and I like a gel liner for that. Max Fluid Line, Bobbi Brown, I think are some of the better ones, and I like the Annabelle Smoothliner pencil for a little bit of a softer look. You can see also that by extending the eye outward this way, it just strengthens. It strengthens her whole eye. And that's all done with the shadows that I just showed you. Number 2, lashes. Here's a good example too, and we see with the brows too how lifting those makes a difference. But here, instead of adding more liner, and not liquid liner, gang, it's not good at this stage, but if you use the gel liner in the waterline and eyeshadow as a liner on the top line, that's great. And then the liner underneath, the taupe, the Brun, the combination of any of those mixed together and a little thicker and darker at the end and blended right in, and just keep blending into about the center. And then we have our next contestant. Now here is a good example of sometimes how one eye, we, just through aging, and I have it like this, I think it's this eye here that is smaller, is becoming smaller than my other eye. But that whole side of my face is doing some strange things anyway. But here's an example, though, how with makeup you can do some correction. And I'm not talking special effects or having to buy special products or anything else. Just the products, the streamlined products that I recommend on this channel. Making the eyeliner a little thicker on her left eye helps to cover that whitish look from her lid on the before picture. Can you see the difference there? Now notice how I extended to the bottom liner right out to the edge of her eye and beyond. And that just gives, and of course the brows are redesigned, refixed, or not, there's no such thing as refixed. Time for some caffeine. Corrected. Okay, so now let's take a look at our final contestant. Here's a femme fatale that likes to keep it natural. And I understand lots of us do. But do you see the difference how just lifting the front end of the brows a bit and removing some from the arch, grooming that off, and then she's got beautiful lashes, which is all she really needs. I just added the gel liner in the upper waterline. That gave her the strength she needed to work with her lashes. And then the powder, the eyeshadow powder on the lower lash line just gives it the strength that set of eyes needed. Okay, so now we're going to jump into corrected lip shapes. And we're going to do a before and after. Here we have a thinner lip on the before. You can see that there. And this is what happens with us. Now, correcting just a little bit. And you know where you make it, you know where you augment is in the center. Not on the outside, ladies. In the center is that's where we usually have less wrinkles. And it just works a little better. Now, you saw my before picture of let me see if I can just jump back there for you. I'm going to jump back to that foundation picture. My lips are thinner there. If you look in the before picture there. Now, I have augmented through here and here. A little bit on the outside for mine because I've had to correct that. But anyway, back to lips. You can see, and this is where the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour lipstick works fabulously because it doesn't bleed, feather, it doesn't transfer, it doesn't do any of that stuff. It stays put. And when it does wear down, it's going to wear down on the inside here, but not on the outside. And you don't need a lip liner with it or anything. You can just, again, you want to practice using that wand, or you can use a lipstick brush, get up some of the product onto the lipstick brush and use that if that's what you prefer. Okay, so that's our first contestant. Here's another example of thinner lips as we age, where I've augmented the center in the front, in the top, and in the bottom. And especially I find in the bottom with us as we age seems to be the thing because, we tend sometimes to, talk or make expressions, and if we get tight-lipped about things, if you keep doing this, if you keep expressing this way, that's what will happen. And I said this in one other video. I remember a photographer, when I was getting some professional shots done once, said to me, do the blowfish, which is when you're sitting watching TV or whatever, just because whatever you practice or you do is what you get good at. Whatever you practice doing, you get good at. You get lines, you get wrinkles, you end up talking this way. When you do this, it softens your lips. Make sense? Anyway, just something that I'm just passing along. Our next contestant. Here's a good example of turning the lips in a little bit, which is so easy for us to do when we age, especially when we're concerned about things with our, with our partner or our children or our grandparents or our aging spouse or whatever it may be. There's a tendency for us to sometimes talk like augmenting the lips there, just a slight bit, not over the top, makes a huge difference. And it doesn't matter how many lines you have, the Maybelline Superstay works great. And our next contestant is a good example of putting lip color too much on the outside. And again, that happens over time. We get used to applying our lips in the same way. The trouble is, lips aren't like that when you go really outside like this. So if you see the other side, correct it, and toning down the color, because the before picture has too much blue in it, from my opinion, for an older face. Whereas you can still have your wonderful pinks, oh joy, oh rapture, but make sure they have a little bit of brown in them so that it's not so harsh looking on an older face. And here's our final contestant with a really good example of going too far outside the lines at the side, which makes the lips look really thick, and then it makes the upper lip look really thin. So when you take that away, it helps to just counter that a little bit. So I hope that makes some sense. Now, on to the piece de resistance, the corrected crown. Now, I talk about backcombing a lot. I'm not talking about this picture of the 80s. We're not going there, okay? Or in the 60s when it was big hair still, but it was piled high, with a crown like that. That's not what we're going for. But here's an example with our lovely contestant, Shauna, of where the crown, the circumference of the crown, that's from, say, about your eyebrow level around, that whole area there, but especially through here. Now, Shauna, I've also, if you notice, I've also corrected her eyebrows and taken away the shine from her face. I didn't do much else. She's doing a lovely job on her eyes, and she has beautiful lips. And I love that hairstyle on her. And she did this apparently just with some rollers, very easy, like what we've been talking about on the page. But notice how the circumference, just, at her eyebrow line, notice how when that's lifted out, what a difference that makes. So now I'm going to, whoops, I don't want that. I'm going to show you an example of myself. This is me after the gym with just combed my hair flat, no back combing, no extensions, no anything. Now, do you see the shape of my head? I call it an egg shape because it is. Now, as I do guidelines for brows, I'm doing a guideline here to show you what I mean about where the lift goes. Can you see those little those little black guidelines? That's what I want to aim for, to get the hair lifted up and out. Now, I'm going to show you some head shapes here. I just happened to catch on CNN last night. Here's a wonderful example. Ignore that man behind the curtain. On your, I think it's your, whatever it is, the Caucasian woman. Do you notice how her head shape is much like mine? Now, take a close look at her brows, and I'm going to enlarge this for you. Take a close look at her brows. Notice how her brows are falling down. They're higher in the front and they're lower at the side. So what is that doing? That's exacerbating her thinner or more egg-shaped head at the top. Now take a look at our lovely contestant on the other side. Notice her head shape, how it's a little bit, it's wider. It's wider at the top before it rounds out. It's more of a square shape. Also, take note of her brows and how because they are down in the front. I would bring them up a little more, but she didn't ask. But I would bring them up a little more. But see how the angle of that brow works or enhances the shape of her head. I'd like to see our Caucasian femme fatale lift the back end and drop the front end to help with that. So that's just an example of what I'm talking about as far as head shapes are concerned. Now, I'm going to show you two examples, one with curly hair and one with straight hair. There, take a look at how my hair is lifted out. And you can see what I'm wearing today too. See how it's lifted out? Not a lot, not over the top, but it's lifted out. And here I have straight hair. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do that, and I didn't want to do that. Oh, my goodness me. I don't want that. I do want that. Okay, sorry about that. Now, again, when you look at where is it now? When you look at the guidelines, and then you look at how that hair comes out, or I'm wearing very much the same today, look at the guidelines, and look what that does. Does that make sense? So, and how do we achieve that? We achieve it through backcombing and hairspray. Now, there's lots of talk about dry shampoo and volumizers and powders and things of that nature. Yeah, they're on the market. They're popular. Great. If that's what you love, great. I find that they're gritty and they tend to make the hair feel a little bit dirty. It's fine for a one-day thing or whatever. But I find with backcombing and with hairspray, and especially the John Frieda hairspray, which you've seen me use, that it makes I comb that out and I don't have any stickiness or anything. And when I comb out my backcombing, my hair is fine, it's fresh, there's no grit to it or anything else. So that's my preference. Now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to put a link, am I pointing the right way? Yes. No, I'm not, am I? I'm going to put a link to the video I did on the modern day page boy that shows how I do the backcombing. And I'm also going to put another link to how I use the bump it and extensions to make my hair. Now I want to, as far as backcombing is concerned, as far as getting that shape, to bring out the thing. These are the three tools. I have one of these styling brushes, this brush, this pick, and a barber's comb. That's all I need along with my hairspray, and I get this look every single time. But I decided I'm going to do a video on backcombing so that I'll just show the different ways you can backcomb, and it doesn't ruin the hair at all. It's all in how you do it, like everything else. So lifting the circumference of the crown is the crowning glory of how you put it all together. So for our summary here, a healthy lifestyle, of course, is always the first thing to look at when you're putting your whole act together. Number two, instead of taking biotin and all kinds of things that people recommend on the internet and other places, yeah, I'm on the internet too, always check with your medical professional for anything that gets in your way. Like if you're using eye drops or you're doing this serum for this or that or whatever, check first if you've got a problem. Always do that first. Number three, forget the beauty propaganda with its snake oil sales of lotions and potions and fixes and things and things and things. Ignore the propaganda. That wrinkles, lines, and gray hair and many other signs of healthy aging are the scourge of women's existence on this planet. Okay? Forget that stuff. 4, redesign your makeup for where you are now. Not using and using the time-tested products and tools on this channel that I've tested and I've honed over time as a master artist. There's lots of tips, there's lots of techniques to serve you, believe me. And number 5, refocus yourself and hone your application skills. Think of it this way: you wouldn't go into surgery. Right? If you had to go into surgery, would you go with a surgeon that was using a butter knife instead of a scalpel? No. I would hope you wouldn't anyway. So when you look at it that way, why would you take the same haphazard approach to developing your makeup skills? Believe me, taking any one of these, 4 or 5 aspects and practicing every day for a month, you'll find it. Now, I have and I can continue to give tips and techniques, but everybody's application is different. Everybody uses their hands differently. Everybody's got a slightly different dexterity. And so it's up to you with your own, the way you use your hand, with the way it functions, or your hands, and your eyesight and everything else. You have to find the tricks that work for you in this situation. Does that make sense? I can be a guide, but you have to do the work. And finally, just like nature, beautiful gray hair, a flower, or a fetus for that matter, development needs time to grow. And so do your makeup skills need time to get great. Okay, so now we're going to go to questions, and I'm just going to bring you up here and take a look. Candace, I look gorgeous. Thank you, Candace. Good morning, Kathy Kitterman. Penny, good morning. Becky C, glad to be here. Great. And Jody Smith, good morning. Yvonne, hi. Penny Norton, love your tips. Thank you. Madeline, great to see you. Thank you. Brenda Hamlin, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, now we have a question from Candace Spar. I'm unsure how to shape my brows. Do I shave them and draw in? Reshaping is beyond my comprehension. Well, I understand that, Candace. What women do on the Going Gray and Loving It Facebook private closed page for biological females only, it's just us. You can put in for a pay it forward, make better, and I can give you guidelines that you can take to a technician and have them do it for you, following the guidelines, okay? So I hope that helps, Candace. Okay, Becky C., after listening to you, I'm understanding why I shouldn't entertain the idea of a brow pencil. Yes, Becky. Yes, you're absolutely right. Denise, wonderful. You made it. Excellent. Let me see. Jan Spate. Love the Coquette, but the MAC never QSSs are me. I'm not sure. Doesn't carry it. Is it discontinued? Oh, I don't think so. Is it on? I'll have to check that out, Jan. God, I hope not. And if so, then surely they would have a replacement of some kind. So, Yeah, let me check into that, okay? Thank you. Cher Wilcox. I can jump in now because I too do not know how to draw my brows like you do in your Pay It Forward. How do you know what shape is best for your eyes? Well, that's where Cher getting a brow guidelines is helpful. In the guidelines that I give, I have a line that goes, on the top and the side and then one underneath. Generally speaking, any hair that's above the top guideline goes. Anything that's below the bottom guideline goes. Any white space in the middle of the guidelines that doesn't have hair in it gets filled in. That's generally how that works. I hope that helps you, Cher. Good morning, Lassiter Lynn from West Virginia. Madeline, give great advice. You're welcome. Let me see. Yvonne Rutkowski, I hope I got that right, got all the shadows at the Times Square MAC store, just the pans, and created the palette. Bravo, wonderful, enjoy. I know you'll have fun. Kathy Gottstoff, love your tips, thank you. Becky, great tip on the center augmentation. Yes, makes a difference. Becky C, I think we all are. Not sure. That's okay. Candace Spar, Sharon is the best. Keep it real. Thank you so much. Oh, my hand disappeared there. Now that's a trick. Okay, Lynn, thanks for the pictures. And now I understand. Okay, good, Lynn. Good. I'm glad that they help. And Jan, let me see. Jan, pause. They're my eyes. AKA Liz H. I'm sorry, Jan, I don't think I understand. Oops, way behind because of a phone call. Oh, okay. The snowy owl, I think I already addressed this getting the wrong one there. I think I already addressed this snowy owl. Does backcombing damage your hair? No, it doesn't. Because let's say, first of all, I'm talking mostly about the roots. But let's suppose I wanted to backcomb here. I would use a pick if I were doing this, okay? So when I comb that out, I start at the bottom of the shaft first and then work my way up, okay? So wherever your backcombing ends, you start combing that out first and then you just move up, so to speak, and that should do it. Okay, and Ingrid Vandenberg. Oh, lovely to see you. Sharon, those powders and volumizers also make your hair look dull. Yes! Thank you, Ingrid. They do. And that's another reason why I like the John Frieda, because when I comb it out and the next day, my hair does not look dull at all. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it. Cher Wilcox, recently had a perm and curls everywhere. So how do I lift the crown? At the root. You just dig in. I'm going to do a video. It'll be a time lapse thing, I think, for when I have curly hair or straight hair. You just go into the root, Cher, and that's the problem with perms. And I have to say, Cher, no offense meant, but I'm not a big fan of perms. That's one reason right there. Because as the roots come in, the hair, it's all flat at the root, and then this curl out here. When you want it the other way around. You want the fullness at the root, not at the end necessarily, depending on your style. So let that grow out, take good care of it, Cher, and just comb the root. And I would think using your barber's comb would be the best thing, because it's a finer toothed comb and you can get in. You could use a brush, but I wouldn't do that with curly hair. Hope that helps. Okay, and SoCal Dreamer, aren't volumizers and hairsprays bad for your hair? No, they aren't. It's all in how you use them. like with everything. It's the same with makeup. It's all in how you use it. And snow owl lungs, and the lungs, you can use a pump, hairspray. You can put your hand over your face. You can wear a mask and spray. I'm not talking, like you see in the movies. I'm talking a wisp of hairspray. That's all I'm talking. So, and that's a personal choice. That's a personal choice. Liz Manzer. Hi, Liz. Nancy Bryan, I need the video about backcombing. I have short layered hair that has thinned as I have aged. Help. Yes. Okay, Nancy. Well, there's one that I've done. I have a playlist on makeovers that I've done, and there's one there for Model Mary. I've done both her makeup and her hair. So take a look at that one because she has short hair. And I've got one coming up next week for a makeover I did for Donna where I redid her brows, but then we ended up doing a makeover anyway, and I did her hair, and we talked about that there. So, and I will be doing a video on backcombing. And let me see, Kathy Goltsoff, sorry. I use sunblock every day. Yippee! Good for you, Kathy. That's exactly what we all should be doing. And Annie Lee, I'm practicing. Good for you, Annie. Bravo. That's how you get there. Practice absolutely does make perfect. Lip liner from Lisa Manzer. How do I figure out where to put the lipstick? Well, first of all, follow your lips and just go take a look, take a selfie. Here's the thing, take a selfie because they are magic. They're so cheap and cheerful, and you can take millions of them and just toss them. And take a close up, like get right in and get just your face. Don't get a lot of background in your selfies, okay? Get nice and tight with your selfies. Excuse me. And study. What you could do is do a printout and take a pencil and draw where you think you need to augment. That would be the best way if you wanted to practice that way. Just do a printout and practice on paper first. I hope that helps. Let's see. Sharon, I find my hands shake lately and I have a hard time applying lipstick correctly. I understand, and I did a video, I can't think of where it is offhand. Oh, I did one on lips in a live stream. I'm in the process of time coding the live stream so that they're easy for access. You can, if you're having trouble if your hand is shaking, then grab with your other hand. Also, put your hand down on a table. You know what I mean? To help steady it a little. What you could do, if that's too precision for you to use the wand, put your finger on and just go over your lips like this, and then smoosh it in place while the liquid is still wet. Give that a try and let me know how that works. And check for that video in the live stream playlist. It's clearly marked lips, okay? I hope that helps. And Penny. Not a question, just a comment. I practiced every day with my brows for probably 6 weeks. Good for you. And I can do it now without even thinking. I so appreciate your point. It is absolutely true. Penny, mwah, thank you for confirming. Absolutely, thank you for confirming. It does. And like you said, you can do it without even thinking. Wonderful. Really appreciate that feedback. Okay, and we have Elaine. I've felt I overplucked my brows and I let them grow back. I'm back on track using your suggestion of a selfie. Pluck, selfie, pluck. I love it. Works wonders for not overplucking. Thanks for all you do, Sharon. I love it. That's great, Elaine. pluck, selfie, pluck, selfie, pluck, selfie. We just need some somebody to write some music to that. We're on our way. Yvonne Rakowski, what face moisturizer to use without breaking the bank? Those creams they sell are insanely expensive. Thank you. I totally agree with you. If you're going to use any expensive ones, use your serums and all that sort of stuff for the evening, okay? Because that's on a clean, clean, clean face. Morning is not the time to do it. At night. I use Aveeno and I use Total 7 Effects, but it's gone up in price. And I just bought a new one that's the same, I've got a little bit better ingredients. Drugstore, I'm just using drugstore. The other place to go that I really like for skincare, and I tip my chapeau to her, is Paula Burgoyne. She used to be called the Cosmetics Cop, but I think now it's Paula's Choice. They will help guide you with proper stuff for your face. They're skincare experts. That's not my forte. It's the application that's my thing. But I really have a great respect for Paula's Choice. So check out there, Yvonne. I hope that helps. Lynn Comerford, it was good. It was good. Thanks. Got it. Gotta go. Okay, we'll see you later. And Becky says, I'm new, so can you give me more info about eyebrow guidelines you provide? I'll speak to that I do that in the Pay It Forward Make Betters that I do, that I will speak to in just a little bit. So you'll get the information there, Becky. And Funny Waffles, good name. My son made my screen name. What kind of facial moisturizers do you use for day and night, and what do you recommend? Again, I would go to Paula's Choice and check there. I use an AHA and a retinol alternately at night, and all drugstore stuff that I get. Neutrogena is one brand, and the Revlon I've used. I think, you know what? Again, check the live stream, because I think, yes, I put up a thing on how I cleanse my face and what I use for morning and night. It's in the live stream playlist, clearly marked, so that should help you. Funny Waffles. And Helen, I love your videos. Great. Beauty by Bridget. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. And can't pronounce this, so I'm not even going to try. I found a dry shampoo that's not powdery or dulling and adds lift from CVS. Love Beauty and Planet. Okay, we don't advertise other than, what we're doing on this channel. Don't appreciate that. Because I have to tell you, I have a number of people or brands and stuff that are contact me wanting to know if I will, do a video or I will do this, and I'll tell you, I'm not interested. I am not interested in doing that. Something has to really prove itself first, and I have to check the online reviews and make sure that they're good first. I'm not interested in new brands or any of this. So often the stuff that's sold on the shopping channels and things like that is, questionable, in my opinion, as a master artist that's been around the block, close to 40 years with this stuff. Kathy Heyman, I tried filling my brows, and at work one day my cohort said, "What did you do to your eyebrows? How embarrassing. They were too dark. I love my hair. Should I try to match my brows to my dyed color?" That's like trying to match your eyes to your gown in The Wizard of Oz. Well, if you continue to dye your hair and your brows are they're light in texture and color, then you have options to change the color. And I would go lighter. That's where Coquette and Omega. Coquette is a really good color. Looks to me like you're blonde, so Coquette would be a good color because it's taupe. Okay, so yeah, I'd lighten it up a little bit and be a little precisioned and take a really good look. Like Elaine said, selfie, pluck, selfie, pluck. Take a look. Study, take a look and see what you need to do before you do it, okay? And let's see. Tribbles, glad I tuned in. I am too. Talia Hassan, hi dear Sharon. Let's bring this on board here. Is there a way to hide holes on the skin? Well, you could always get out the trowel. That's what I do. But I'm sure you don't want to go down that road. There's also polyfilla that we've used and things like that. When I think you're talking about pores, but sometimes they may feel like holes. Take a look at go back and watch the playback of this, where you'll see the picture that I put up about the before and after picture of my face using the dual finish powder foundation, and and there's a video on that very thing that it's going to be listed up here somewhere afterwards. Okay, thank you for the wonderful chortle. Appreciate it. Let me see now. Cher McGregor, where can I purchase hairbands pieces to blend with my gray hair? Well, Sherry, I'm not sure if you're living in a large center or not, but you know there's we have here in Canada Marie Claire, and I'm sure you have things similar to that. In most malls, there's always a couple of shops for where you can buy all kinds of things, and they include earrings and things of that nature. That's what I would check out. And you know what? I have to say, less is more. Like with clothing, it's the same thing with hair, and it's the same thing with makeup. Simplicity. Too many baubles, bangles, and beads takes away from your strength and from your style. I have stuff that I thought I would like that's sitting in the closet. It just, not a lot, but I never wear it. So I've made a pact with myself. I'm not going to buy anymore. It's the style that's more important, not the bows and the things that you put it, like a good dress. A good dress doesn't need bows, right? When it fits right, it's perfect for your figure type, and it's a good fabric, and the cut and everything is. You don't need bows. It's the same thing with your hair, in my opinion. And we have Yvonne back on the stage. I started using Maybelline 24-Hour Superstay. Let me fix that. Superstay. Got the color. I'm not sure if you were going to share what that color was, Yvonne, but if you care to share, do so. I'm glad you got it. Good for you. And let me see. I can't read this. I'm going to have to move it down. Jay Brown, just found your ex. Oh, just found you. Kisses. Your eyes are amazing. Well, thank you. And you know what? You know what's amazing about them? Nothing. They're just eyes like everybody else, and they're on the smallish side. It's the makeup. It's the makeup and the few the few products that I use. Okay, Yvonne, we're back to the lipstick. Whoops, in the wrong place here. Oops, got the lipstick colors. Ah, okay, you got them. Great. Okay, great, Yvonne. All right, we got that mystery solved. Let me see, we have Beauty here by Bridget. This is great advice. I shake and use my finger. I'm not sure what that's in line with, Bridget, but it could be maybe your hair. Sometimes, and especially for curly haired gals with around the circumference of the hair, I don't want to do it now because I'll just mess my hair up. You can go in and go into the root and then just shake the root. And what that does is it mats it a little, not mats it down. It kind of unsettles it a little so that it will stick out. Let me see, what did I do there? Because, nothing much. What it will do is help to lift the hair around the roots. Thank you, that's great. Sorry, I'm new to this live video. Thank you, Sharon, for all your advice. You're most welcome, Yvonne. No problem at all. I'm new to it too. So, Sharon McGregor, love your advice. Yvonne, thanks so much. I'm very lucky I found you, Judy Masters. Well, I'm glad you're here. Michelle, sorry, I was just thought I was giving advice. No problem, but I appreciate that. Let me see. I'm sorry, I don't have your. I can't pronounce your name. I appreciate that. The thing is, I don't. It's like on the Going Gray page. I ask people not to list products unless they've been vetted by me first. Why? Because it's my page, and I do have a lot of experience. And I check the background. I check the reviews. I check all kinds of things before I put the stamp of approval on it. Because why? Because we are so inundated with so many products about so many things by so many people who really don't know what they're talking about. We end up buying, and we get our closets and our drawers and our cupboards full of stuff that we don't need. That's why this channel is dedicated to simplicity and style. And doing it the easy, streamlined, efficient way. Okay, Penny, let's see. I've gone back to using Color Stay. Had a problem before with it drying my lips. Now I just use a light coat and Vaseline instead of the balm and found it works pretty darn good. Oh, excellent. That's excellent. We are big fans of Vaseline on this channel because it does a lot of fabulous things. Thanks for that tip, Penny. That's great. And while you've got Vaseline in your cupboard, put some on your... Here's a tip. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. If you know, sometimes the Superstay is still on your lips after you've cleaned your face. Put some Vaseline on a Q-tip and go over your lips with it. Okay? And if you have anything left on your eyes, use your eyes. Vaseline to remove makeup. Yeah, who knew, eh? Then wipe away the excess and the color and everything, and dab a little bit more on your lips and on your cuticles at night. Your lips will never be dry. They'll always be in tip-top shape, and your cuticles won't get dry, and all that sort of thing. Yeah, Vaseline is wonderful. And for all those who may be using chapstick, throw it out. I've noticed they've been advertising lately. Throw it out. When I was at CBC, I could tell every single time when somebody sat in my chair that they were using Vaseline. And every single time when I asked them if they used it, they said yes, and they'd pull it out of their purse or their pocket. So we had the little talk about Vaseline, and they don't use chapstick. Has something in it that just seems to dry the lips out. So don't walk away from that. Okay, off my soapbox on this one. Yvonne likes my sense of humor. Good, Yvonne. Okay, so M. Williams. When I start back combing my hair, it gets very staticky. Okay. Get a little moisturizer, like hand moisturizer. Not a lot. Just a little. Just a tiny, tiny little bit. Run it through your hair. If your hair is that staticky, then use a tiny little bit of moisturizer. Or some would use coconut oil. Or some would use olive oil, depending on what part of the world you're in. Excuse me. Do that. And if it's staticky, probably things in your home are staticky. So, you'll want to add some water. Oh, and speaking of static and water, my fountain has bit the dust. Now, some of you will be thrilled, some of you will be sad. Let me know in the comments if you think I should replace it or not. Right now, I'm draining the water and I'm just going to fill it with plants, but I love the sound of the water. Now I know I can get a digital sound to run in the background, but there's something about the water. So let me know, because sometimes I've left my fountain on by mistake and people are going, what's that sound? What's that sound? And others love it. So I don't know what to do, so I'll leave it up to you. So I hope that answers your question about the staticky stuff. And you can also use like a dryer sheet You can go over your hair with a dryer sheet too, and that will help. Let me know if that works for you. Okay. And let me see, Rebecca Miller. Let's bring you on board here, Rebecca. How do you balance the overall color on your face best when too much color looks like a bright clown on pale skin? Sometimes I feel like too many items look like it's overpowering for us pale blondes. Couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. Rebecca, if you follow the tips and techniques on this channel or on the Going Gray page if you're there, or I have a public page. Those who have gone through gray and don't want to keep going over the same old, tend to go over to my public page afterwards, Sharon Danley Beauty, where I just put up the essentials. Don't get into the conversations because people have learned. So either one of those pages. The trick is, Rebecca, is to make sure, first of all, that your skin tone product, the dual finish powder, matches your skin tone. Keeping your eyes neutral. Forget, I did last live stream, I believe it was. Check it out in the live stream playlist. I did a thing on eyeshadows and why we don't need all the colors that they try to sell us, okay? The other thing is, as far as blush is concerned, I've shown this before. I'll show it again today. This is a pink. This is an orange. That's all I ever use for blush. And I often combine the two of them together. So if you've got just your neutrals going on with your eyes and your brows, and your blush is, and it's in the same undertone color family as your lips, you should be good to go. Okay, thank you. Hope that helps, Rebecca. And Gail Davis. Let's see what Gail has to say. So many dry shampoos make my scalp itch. Can you recommend one that doesn't feel dry and you can run a brush through the hair easily? Thanks. Well, I don't recommend dry shampoos, Gail. I don't like them. I think they leave the hair gritty and dirty. And but what I would use is baby powder. Now, if you're gray, that's perfect. Baby powder works great. Or some people make a combination of baby powder and cornstarch. Cornstarch will work great. And make sure that when you're shampooing your hair that you shampoo the roots, not so much the ends, but the roots of your hair. Really rinse your hair well and condition it well, and then you shouldn't have a problem. If you continue to have an itchy scalp, treating your hair the proper way, then have a chat with your doc. Okay, I hope that helps, Gail. Okay, and Becky. Question about using the gel liner. I'm getting over a style, or maybe a sty and infection after starting to tightline the waterline. Any tips on staying safe with that technique? Okay, one of the ways that people get have problems with makeup or they get infections is because their brushes and their products and their holders are not sanitized. Okay, vital. Clean your brush after every use. Every use. One of my earlier videos I talk about, like when I use a very small, tiny dome brush to put on the gel liner, when I finish, I don't even put the brush down. I spray alcohol on a Kleenex and I clean that brush. I clean all the product off it so it's cleaned and it's sanitized before it goes back into my little brush bag. You can also spray your products with alcohol to help sanitize. Make sure that your containers are cleaned and wiped down and sanitized with alcohol on a paper towel. Check those things, okay? And if your product is old in that and you haven't been practicing strong sanitation, then I would let it go and get something new. Okay? I hope that helps, Becky. And if it continues, well, check back, okay? And we'll talk about it. Let me know what you've done. All right, and Williams, let me see, M. Williams. When I add color to my upper waterline, it caused my eye to water. Any suggestions? Depends on how you do it. I'm 72, and my eyes will water too. Now, I have one eye, this one eye here that's a bit smaller. There are times when the wind blows when I swear there's a faucet there that I have to turn off. The trick is just being really precision with getting it on the waterline, making sure your products are pristine clean, and don't blink your eyes until after it's dried. Okay? Don't blink your eyes till after it's dried, and don't put on gobs. Just like a little, just a little bit. Okay? And try that. Make sure again, clean the products and leave your eyes open. Look up if you have to for a little bit. And if you're not putting on too much, it will dry very quickly. I hope that helps. Okay, okay, let me see. Anna Lee. I love my waterfall. I love hearing it at night. Very peaceful. I recommend replacing. Okay, Anna, that's 1-4. Thank you. I feel the same way. Rebecca Miller, not gray yet, but still feels bold. Not sure what you mean, Rebecca, but good, I guess, if that's what you want. If it's not, then we need to talk. Okay, and here we go. Rebecca. Whoop, I'm largening the questions, and I don't mean to do that. Vitiligo doesn't help at all. Okay, you have vitiligo. Okay, I don't know whether you want to cover that or whether you don't. You know, there's a model, I'm sorry, I forget her name, who wears her vitiligo proudly, and I say, bravo, a tip of the chapeau to her. There's lots of ways of covering the vitiligo, which I'm sure you know. But if not, and you want to talk about it, you know, I'm here for you. And there's lots of ways of doing it, maybe only covering certain aspects. It all depends, but that requires a discussion and consultation. Okay, I'm free anytime you want. And let me see. Silver Dragonfly. So glad you're still on. Yeah, I'm still here. They can't get rid of me that easily, right? And Gail Davis, thank you for answering my question. Great tip. Okay, wonderful, good. And Joan Comer, let's see. What kind of makeup in that black case with all the foundations that you just showed us? Who makes it? That's a really old MAC Professional palette that they used to sell back in the day. I was one of the first people to take out the insert and put the pans in. You can now buy those MAC palettes at MAC. They come in quads, they come in large, medium and larger, and only buy your eyeshadows by the pan, okay? A lot cheaper than buying an eyeshadow in a container. And then you just put the pans and stick them in the magnetic thing. It's just the best. So that's where I would go. Check out the MAC, and you can check it online. There, it's all there. And Silver Dragonfly. Oh, yes, she loves the waterfall too. Okay, great. And Penny, I switched to powder and sealant on a flat angled brush to do my waterline. Okay. I just push it gently into my lashes and stay away from the eyeball. My eyes don't water anymore. Aces, thank you, Penny. Yes. See, that's another thing that I tend not to mention very often, and I don't know why, but it's the eyeliner sealant. You can use it for brows, you can use it for eyeliner, you can use it like Penny just said with you know, on the waterline. You can use it for a lot of things. It's a staple it's like having tweezers in your bag or manicure scissors. To me, it's a staple. That's a great trick, Penny. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mwah! Very much appreciated. Let me see. I can't read this. Replace your waterfall, Roxanne. Okay. All right. Sue Silver. How do you get your hair to look so smooth? I comb it. I do one of these. No, I don't. I'm just tricking. What I do is I will spray my hand. If I've got flyaways, I spray my hand, and then I just go over it like that. And that calms them down beautifully. They stay put. Unless, there's a strong nor'easter coming up, then, it's hold on to your extension, your bump it, and hope everything comes out okay. Anyway, hope that helps. Elaine, is there a way to stop makeup from collecting in the outer creases of your eyes? I do not, but makeup seems to collect there. I'm not sure exactly where you mean, Elaine, on the outer creases of your eyes. Okay, maybe this is it. When you cover your eyes, like in the foundation video, completely with the dual finish powder, and underneath and everywhere, when you do that, you will find that your eyeshadow doesn't collect. It just doesn't. It doesn't. You don't get creases. If you have a cream though, or you have an eyebrow pencil, or an eyeliner pencil, because there's wax in it, that will help to collect. That's why I'm all about powders at this stage. No pencils, no waxes. Okay, so I hope I've answered your question okay. And Roxanne, my eyebrows have become dots over my eyes. I need your help. Well, just put in a few more dots and fill them in. Roxanne, I understand. Believe me, when you see my before picture, my one eyebrow is, sinking, faster than the Titanic, and the other one's still up there. And I understand. If either on the beauty page or the Go and Gray page, request a pay it forward brow shaping, and I'll do that for you. Okay. Oh. Okay, and Jade O, sorry, but I found the sound of the waterfall too loud and distracting. That's fine. Okay, so we've got 2 or maybe 3 for, 1 against. Okay, that's good. Okay, so, and let me see. M. Williams, in the mornings when I walk, I always put chapstick of some kind on my lips. What do you suggest in place of chapstick? Vaseline. Vaseline comes in, all kinds of types. Like they come in little squeeze tubes and things now too. Or I think they come in things where you can just put it on your lips. Barring any of that, just take it out of your big container, put it in a tiny little container that you can carry in your pocket. Yeah, you know what? Please throw the chapstick away. Throw it away. Start using it on your lips at night after you've cleansed your face. I guarantee you in a week, you're going to notice a huge difference. Let us know, okay? Oh, hopefully I've saved somebody from that. And let me see, Yvonne, what brand of eyeliner sealant would you recommend? MAC Fluid Line works for me. It's just fine. Or the Annabelle Smoothliner gel pencil that I heat underneath a hot water tap and heat it up so it just melts a little bit, and then I use that. So those are the only 2 I would recommend. Oh, Bobbi Brown too. And Cynthia, can you recommend a sealant? Do they carry it in drugstores? They do carry it in Sephora, Cynthia. I'm a big fan of Cinema Secrets eyeliner sealant. I've just used it for 1,000 years, and so I just, when I find a product that works really well, I just stick with it. So those, you could, like I said, you can find. I don't know if Cinema Secret sells in Sephora though, because you know what? I don't go to Sephora very often. I only go to Sephora for you guys when I'm checking stuff out, but I have no need of it at all because I got my little thing going on and it works for me every day. Anyway, I hope that helps and answers your question. Well, it looks like we are out of questions. I had a few more that I was going to do, but I'm not. But, however, if you have other questions or comments, or you're looking for anything specific, go on to the page and look in the search bar or go to the playlists. And if you go to the playlists, everything is there for you. And it's all easy, and it's all subject matter brought together. Okay, so now, what I'd like you to do is, if you haven't subscribed, do so and share with your friends. And for those that know me, I'm quite politically, involved in stuff. I'm an advocate for a number of things, and given the way our world is going these days, I have an advocacy channel that I've decided to bring up and start putting up stuff again. And if you like the channel, please, share with your friends and ring the bell for notifications. Now, on Facebook, my public page is Sharon Danley Beauty, and on the closed, women-only Going Gray page is Going Gray and Loving It. And for Make Betters on either page, for Pay It Forward Make Betters, just subscribe or just like and just send your questions, and I'll answer them for sure. Now, this week's quote: beauty comes in all colors, ethnicities, ages, abilities, and sizes. It absolutely does, folks. And on this channel, the aim for you is, I want to share with you, is to illuminate the importance of simplicity, strength, and style. And when you have that all going on, grace simply emerges gracefully. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, ladies. It was fun. Remember to practice, take good care of yourself and your loved ones and the world around you. That's a wrap, and we will see you next time. Mwah!